What's up everybody? Welcome to my unboxing video of the Sony A73. Just kidding, I'm not doing an unboxing video because I think they're dumb. This is actually just an empty box. What I want to do instead is test it out. So I'm going to take my dog on a hike and I'm going to bring you guys along with me. The reason why I bought this camera was for video, to do my vlogs. I'm shooting on a 28mm f2 Sony native lens, and what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to test the slow motion. Now there's two ways to do the slow motion actually on this camera. There's the S&Q setting, which you can put it at 120 frames a second and it'll render it at whatever you want, 30p or 24p. The bit rate is 12 megabits per second. Or you can do it the normal way, where you can just put it at 120 frames a second, and the actual bit rate of that is 100 megabits per second. So huge difference in quality. Now, as far as if I'm going to be able to see it or not on YouTube, so obviously I can't see the footage right now. So let's go ahead and jump back to Future Mike. Future Mike, how's that video look? Thanks, Present Mike. All right, so I'm looking at this footage now. I'm putting them side by side for you guys so you can see. On the left hand side is going to be the S&Q settings at 120 frames a second, and on the right is going to be just a normal 120 frames a second. The S&Q obviously is only 12 megabits is the bit rate, and 100 megabits is the normal bit rate, the non S&Q settings. Now, just looking at them side by side, there is a little bit of a difference. The smoothness, I can tell on my computer, I can tell the difference with the smoothness by the way Bruno is running. But I think when I render this out for YouTube, I don't think you guys are going to be able to see a huge difference. Now, I know this is a really small sample size. There's a lot of different things we probably could have done differently here to test this out in a lot of different situations. But just for having my dog run at me. Now, I don't know if you guys can see here, the focus on the right-hand side looks like it's a little bit better than the S&Q settings, but that could have just been the autofocus maybe missing. I don't know if that was necessarily the S&Q settings, but if it's just for YouTube, guys, I don't think the S&Q settings is going to make that big of a difference, if at all, with the quality of the video. But I think if you're going to get paid, if it's in a professional capacity, you want to sell the footage somehow, then I would definitely use the 100 megabit setting. There's really no reason why you don't need to. You can set it up to make it, to get to the 120 frames a second really fast. You can switch between 24 and 120 without using the S&Q settings. So me personally, I'm probably just going to continue to use the normal 120 frames a second instead of using the S&Q settings. But like I said, there's no harm in doing it if you're just posting it to YouTube or something. So yeah, it doesn't look too bad. I think I like it. But let me know down in the comments if you guys can see something. So anyway, all right, back to you, Present Mike. Thanks, Future Mike. I appreciate that, buddy. Now we're going to mess around. We're going to hike around here a little bit. I'm going to try to do some hyperlapses. I'm going to find a place where I can do some hyperlapses, but that's not why I bought it. Like I said, for the video, I have the Sony 28mm f2 that I'm shooting on, and I also have the 55mm f1.8. I was shooting some of the B-roll you guys just saw on that. Beautiful lens. I'm loving this so far for my vlogging. It's amazing. I use the Nikon D850 for most of my time lapses because it's got the intervalometer built in. It's got you can take 8K time lapses, you can take 4K in camera. The renders out the video itself right in the camera. So the D850 is obviously, head and shoulders above, but like I said, this camera I bought for just video, just for my vlogging, so just for my B-roll, and I love the picture so far. The low light performance is awesome. Yeah, let's test out some hyperlapse and see if we can use the intervalometer for that and see how it goes.
I've heard a story, I've heard it said, I've come to believe that love is a bet. Sometimes you win and sometimes you lose, and sometimes it calls you right in the move. Come to my table, come to my bed, go easy my hunger, easy my head, bringing me fire, bringing me water, taking me high.
Alright guys, so it's a couple of days later actually. I didn't have any clouds in the sky, so it wasn't cooperating with me. I've come back to Tempe, Arizona, at a place called Tempe Town Lake. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a time lapse using the S and Q settings as the sun's setting over these buildings here as the light's changing. I'm going to set it to 1 frame per second on the S and Q settings. It's going to render it at 24 frames a second. That's going to actually make it a time lapse. So I'm going to get that. After that, I'm going to do a hyperlapse at night of the buildings, which is me moving across the lake, focused on one building. I'm going to see how that looks. So it's going to be a night hyperlapse or a niper lapse. So I'm going to do a niper lapse, and then we're going to head back and I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about this camera. Alright guys, welcome back. Now, as kind of a final wrap up, I apologize for this not being more photography based. I just kind of wanted to take my camera out and just do some testing on it. I love the camera. It is absolutely amazing for video, which is what I bought it for. It is perfect. I love the quality of it. I love the customizability of the camera. The menus are quite the pain in the butt. Coming from a Nikon shooter, definitely a lot to get used to, but you can customize the menu to any way you want, customize buttons to any way you want, so the possibilities are not quite endless, but there's a lot of possibilities with this camera. I do like it a lot. For time lapses, I will probably continue to use my Nikon D850. That is just a time-lapse beast. You know, the 8K time-lapse and all that stuff in there, 4K in camera. So no post-processing as far as, you know, having to put everything together. It's head and shoulders above, but that's, other than that, now if you want to use this camera for time lapses, I don't recommend the S and Q settings. It's just a video taking it 1 frame a second. There's really no way to adjust anything on there. There's no way to, it just doesn't really, for me, I guess in a hurry, kind of like the S and Q settings for 120 frames a second. It'll work in a pinch. It'll work fine. It'll work for YouTube, or, you know, if you want to post it to Instagram or Facebook, it'll work fine. But if you really want to be serious about time lapses with this, then I would buy one of these. I'll put the link in the description to the one that I have. An intervalometer is perfect for time lapses, hyper lapses, doing, you know, stuff at night. That you definitely want one of these for. But if you're not a big time-lapse person, for video, this camera is awesome. I can't wait to continue using this on all my trips. I got some good stuff coming up, guys, so stay tuned here in the next couple of days. I got a good trip coming up in Page, Arizona. I got Hawaii coming up in another month, or actually it's going to be about 2 months. But I got a lot of places I'm going to go here in the next few weeks, so a lot more videos to come. A lot more cinematic footage with this camera, so I'm super happy about it. The low light is great. So you guys know, for a landscape photographer like me, I need low light performance with my videos, because a lot of times I'm talking to you guys, it's before sunrise or after sunset. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys like this video, give me a thumbs up. It really does help a lot. Subscribe if you're not already, and I will see you guys on the next video.